DeWanna Bonner? More like DeWanna bailout. After a cryptic 5-game disappearing act chalked up to personal reasons, it's now official. DeWanna is no longer a member of the Indiana Fever. And the fans? They're not just disappointed, they feel sucker punched. This isn't about the stats, the hype, or even the veteran pedigree. It's about the why behind her departure that's got Fever Nation fuming. She was supposed to be the seasoned general alongside Caitlin Clark, the calm amid the chaos of a title chase. Instead, she ghosted the squad when they needed her most. But here's the wild part. This could end up being the best thing that happened to the Fever all season. Stick around, because we're unpacking all of it. Back during the optimism-filled off-season, Bonner was hailed as the final puzzle piece to Indiana's big championship dreams. Her resume screamed leadership. Multiple All-Star nods, WNBA titles, and even at 37, she had gas left in the tank. The idea wasn't just to rack up points. She was there to lend playoff poise to a young, hungry squad that had just been knocked out in the first round. Remember, last postseason, Caitlin Clark and the Fever had real momentum, but lacked the veteran experience to push further. That's why Bonner was brought in, to be the seasoned anchor. And at first she nailed the role, giving interviews full of optimism, stressing unity, and embracing her new teammates. And also joining a team that's just impressive. I think everybody's seen the second half of their season, and it was an unbelievable season, and I just felt like they had a dynamic core, and I just wanted to be another puzzle piece into what they had, and hopefully I can give my knowledge, my leadership, and give it to, these young players, so when I retire, they can, pass along. So I feel like they're young, but I also feel like they're a great young. They don't need too much coaching and too much leadership. They kind of figure it out themselves, and I'm just hoping that I can add to it and make basketball a little easier for them, and as well they can make it a little easy for me. Fans couldn't get enough of her. They bought the jerseys, flooded her with support, and welcomed her to Indy with open arms. She looked thrilled to be playing meaningful basketball again, especially in a city where WNBA games were finally appointment viewing. Indy had become the hottest ticket in the league, and Bonner appeared to be thriving in that electric atmosphere. Even Clark, already shouldering the weight of an entire league, seemed overjoyed to have Bonner beside her. Clark called her a true leader, someone who brought steadiness and knowledge to a team loaded with raw talent. And when Bonner became the third all-time in scoring during a blowout of the Chicago Sky, everything looked picture-perfect. But that high came crashing down fast. Her scoring plummeted to just 7 points a game, less than half of last season's average. Fans and analysts alike began questioning whether the Fever's free agency moves actually made sense. Was this roster built to support Clark's style? Did Stephanie White have a plan? Or was this a just add names and hope kind of off-season? I don't know what Stephanie White's doing exactly. I don't have a clue. Again, I don't know what the identity of this team is. I really don't. It seems like they play a different way every game. One could say, well, that's her game plan. She's game planning for each team. How's that working out for you? And then, just like that, Bonner vanished. After only 9 games, she disappeared from the lineup. The reason? Personal. The timing? Sketchy. Clark had just returned from injury in a big showdown with New York, and Coach White had also been out briefly for personal matters. So, naturally, fans gave Bonner the benefit of the doubt. But as the games rolled by and she remained out, questions started bubbling. No updates, no injury report, no clarity, just silence. That's when the whispers turned into full-blown detective missions. Fans noticed she'd scrubbed Indiana Fever mentions from her Instagram. Reports began circulating that her jerseys were no longer available in the team shop. Some even claimed her image was removed from the arena. Whether those details were true or not didn't even matter at that point. The fact that the organization wasn't saying anything just added fuel to the fire. Soon, legitimate outlets picked up the story. Bonner was out. Period. All eyes turned to Coach White. Surely she'd offer some transparency now that the news was out, right? Wrong. Her response? Total radio silence. Same with Bonner's agent. Not a word. And let's be honest, if any of these reports were bogus, it wouldn't take more than 280 characters to shut them down. But that silence, that said everything. No comment, is a comment. No explanation is an explanation. If we were trying to get back, we would have said, oh, we're trying to get back, we're trying to work some things out behind the scenes so both parties are satisfied. Moving forward, we don't even get that. And now, the narrative we were sold, that DeWanna Bonner was here to mentor, to guide, to selflessly help this team grow, has been torched. According to reports, the moment her role was diminished, she mentally checked out. No more locker room leader. No more sideline support. No more helping Clark adjust to the media circus. Instead, Bonner vanished like a bad magician act, leaving her teammates to fend for themselves. Multiple sources tell foreign office boys the Fidinians of wnba. Bonner, who was signed to be an anchor to win a championship experience for the team's young core, was expected to be a starter. So basically, she stunk it up, got bench for Laxium fist. It is what it is. And look, we get it. No player wants to ride the bench, especially a future Hall of Famer. But leadership isn't about starting or scoring. It's about showing up when it's not about you. And when Bonner was asked to embrace a supporting role, she apparently said, "Nah, I'm good." Instead of leaning into the role she was brought in for, she bailed. And that's the part that's hard to stomach. Right now, Indiana Fever fans are feeling the sting. Think about it. They laid out the red carpet for DeWanna Bonner, welcomed her as a culture leader and mentor, someone who would guide this young core around Caitlin Clark towards a championship. During her unexplained 5-game absence, the entire fan base wasn't just okay with it. They were genuinely worried about her well-being. So the whispers that she might have left simply because she didn't like coming off the bench, that's gutting. What started as empathy has turned to confusion, and is now seeding outrage. Fans feel blindsided, misled, and, yes, even betrayed. Then there's the Instagram post. DeWanna's not one to snap selfies or drop meme-like posts. But the moment she's still being paid, still officially on the roster in mid-absence, she decides to post. Not a heartfelt comeback, not an update on her status, just a casual upload. Timing matters in media, and this hit fans in a raw spot. You don't do that during your team's game, especially when people are checking in on you. Whether purposeful or not, it came across as tone-deaf, and fans made it known. She posted it during the game at like or like 11 p.m. At like 11 p.m. So yes, small actions can land big blows. But here's where the story deepens. Sources are saying the trouble in Indy started long before the benching. Reports claim the on-court chemistry was a mess. Her performance dipped. Averaging less than half her typical points didn't help. But beyond stats, insiders suggest deeper issues. Personality, unfit role, and possibly off-court influences. Yes, rumors swirl about partner Alyssa Thomas's involvement. We might be hearing about basketball fit, but it's looking a lot more personal. But here's the hard truth. The Fever's front office has real decisions on the table. They've known this drama was brewing. Sadly, keeping her on the roster past that point, especially at that $200,000 price tag, would have been a ticking time bomb. With no contributor value and no return on investment, her presence became a liability. They were between two bad options: trade her for nothing, or waive her and clear salary cap space. Ultimately, the only move that made sense was subtraction by addition. She got bent, she couldn't handle it, I want out. She's not playing well, she's getting criticized, I want out. That decision wasn't just practical, it was necessary. Because the longer a player who wants out remains, the bigger the distraction to the whole team. It becomes a cloud of uncertainty. The Fever brass recognized that and made the move within 24 hours. It sounds bold, and they deserve credit for acting fast. But that's only half the picture. She's gone. But it leaves a bigger hole than just salary savings. The roster shakeup is more than symbolic. The Fever are just a third of the way into the season. It's already been emotionally and structurally heavy. A hate speech inquiry, Caitlin missing 5 games, the Sun game where Clark got hit again, and then Sophie Cunningham stepping in with retribution, all under intense spotlight. You can't understate the emotional toll on Caitlin. This team, and frankly, the league, is built around her, and she's still battling. Nonetheless, Caitlin Clark continues to struggle. One of the worst games of her career, if not the worst game of her career against the Storm. I don't even think she had the playmaking prowess that she had in the first half against the Aces or the Valkyries. Still wound up with 9 assists, 8 turnovers though, 0 of 6 from 3. The recent Storm game makes this crystal clear. Scanning Twitter shows fans and analysts have noticed Caitlin seems off. Less fiery, less sparkly. Sure, a rough game can weigh on anyone, but when the loss of a trusted mentor lingers, it erodes your mojo in ways stats can't show. That's emotional weight. Now, with Bonner gone, not just benched, but perhaps walked away, Caitlin is left reconciling unspoken questions. Why didn't she fight for me? Why did she leave? I think for the challenge for myself going forward is just, continue to pour into every other aspect of the game, and I can continue having an impact in, all those other areas that I got to the rim well. It's just, certainly it's a tough shooting night, and, you gotta find a way to continue to shoot and remain confident in myself, because I know I put the time in. But, for me, I don't feel like it's, anything that's all necessarily, but, do this. Now, I promised a silver lining, and here it is. DeWanna didn't want to be here. To get to her exit, there had to be friction, resentment, or misalignment at work behind the scenes. So as disappointing as this is, releasing her lifts a cloud. Who needs a max salary draining cap space and contributing minimal production? Not this Fever team. The available cap space can now be used on players who fit. Not just talent-wise, but emotional-wise too. And let's talk quick fixes. Pace has been a talking point all season. Fever play too slow, grunt through possessions. But now, that open roster slot is perfect for younger, quicker legs, and fans are already buzzing because the Fever added Ari McDonald. Her energy, offensive spark, scrappy defense, and tempo brings immediate impact. Meanwhile, the veteran leadership box is still checked. Players like Natasha Howard and Sydney Colson remain. That veteran core isn't gone, the tone setter just changed. DeWanna Bonner was brought in for leadership. She was brought in for leadership. And you want to know all that these young players learned from her? If things don't go your way, refuse to show up, continue to get paid a max contract while you are sitting out, refusing to play. DeWanna Bonner is an absolute legend. And this is one of the lowest of the low things that I've seen in sports. Still, questions linger. This loss of size up front, how will it be replaced? Will they target a shooter, another defender, or someone to share Caitlin's load off winding drives? The decision in coming weeks will be crucial to whether this mid-season reset has upside, or if the Fever are mortgaging a playoff run for survival. Bottom line, removing a player who didn't want to be here strengthens the organization's unity and tone. It demonstrates that the organization values alignment over name recognition. And for Caitlin, that's everything. A cohesive locker room lifts her emotional burden, sharpens focus, and restores the joy on her face. Bottom line, when the noise dies down, Fever fans may look back and say, ditching the veteran who didn't want to be here was the move that showed this team has a spine. And Caitlin, freed of unseen distractions, her fire might return in full blaze.